I was finished.
I mean, it's an evil hippie. Holy shit! Did you ever hear of an evil hippie?
Some Fox News came on or something, and there's a picture of Bill right there, and it says terrorist and all this shit underneath, and all this text scrolling across the bottom. I look, and he's like sitting there in his pajamas, and he's eating watermelon. Like the most non-threatening guy I've ever seen. And I looked, and I said, "That's you," and it was, and it wasn't at the same time, and that is so interesting to me, But someone that and plays this role in your life, becoming this construct, this media construct of this sinister. It was just like. It was like opposite day, like what's going on? It was a very strange experience for me personally. That's my take on it.
Right.
And I survived it by in two ways. One is that Ryan and I just kept working, so we got up every day and worked.
That's the other thing is there was this huge distraction. It really made it hard to get work done. All this stuff.
Was it usually on Fox, or was it just everywhere?
Also, what was, Bill was a secret character. It's like, what was he doing all that time? He wasn't talking to the press. Like, he was at home writing a comic book.
Exactly. And that's part of what keeps you sane, is that you get up every day and you do your work. You don't trust the cartoon character of yourself. You don't trust the negative, and you don't trust the positive. That'll serve you well. Don't trust any of it. Just do your work. So that was one thing. But 2 years before it blew up, my kids and my partner and my brother and I sat down and said, what if this were to blow up? And if it does, what are we going to do? And the universal decision was to be quiet. And my oldest son, who's now 33, said to me during that time, he said, the irony is that if you are quiet, every day that goes by, you'll get calmer. And every day that goes by, they'll get more hysterical. And it absolutely was true. So that by the end, you and I were just kind of living a dream.
Wow.
And yet the media was going absolutely stark raving mad, banging on the door, trying to get at us. And we just said, we're not talking about that,
Yeah, so, to me, the boogeyman was when those Bill O'Reilly guys showed up, man. That was the spookiest shit that ever happened. We were just like at the grocery store, man, and they literally came out of nowhere in the parking lot. And at first it was real like, we just want to talk to you, and you said, no thanks, okay, Mr. Ayers, this and this, and then basically, why are you a terrorist?
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
They got to it very quickly.
And we went to the grocery store.
That's a very scary word after...
absolutely. That's why they use it. Of course.
Well, and they wouldn't leave us alone, and we had to get grocery store security to get them to leave. And then you said that was amazing.
That must have worked well.
Well, it did. They let us. But
what was the longest time that you were in jail for?
I was only in for 10 days. That's the longest.
Oh.
Well, we finished that thought.
And then we're driving back from the grocery store. That's another funny thing is Bill taught me how to drive when I lived there.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
I never learned, so I finally learned.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was scary. And then I was terrorized. And then no. And then we're driving, and he goes, "Okay, these guys are going to come back out again, And we looked around, and they were nowhere. There was no van. There was no guys. We were like, "Okay, cool." And we get out, and I swear to God, they appeared. Like, I don't know, they were just there all of a sudden. Like, they didn't come up, they were just there. And it was very odd. And it was the same shit, but it was more aggressive,
Yeah.
And that's the only thing in terms of Bill being scary. The only time I've seen Bill be really mad, like, this expression I've never seen was when that thing that aired, and he looked right at the camera, and Bill was pissed off. And I've never seen that any other time. I've never seen anything like that. It was kind of incredible.
They were invading us, and I guess we were surprised at it, so we hadn't rehearsed enough. But, because we were working, because I don't ever read stories about myself, and so we just didn't pay attention. The only way I knew it was as huge as it was my kids would tell me, or Ryan would tell me, or we'd be watching Saturday Night Live, and I'd be a character. That's how I knew it was big. But I never believed it, and that's the important thing, that if you're true to yourself and you're who you think you are, and if you want to know who you are, look inside yourself and look at the people who love you. Don't look at something smeared across the advertising. That's insane.
But you really found out who your friends were, I imagine.
Oh, without a doubt. But that's been true many times in my life. That something will come up, and those who reach out to you, then you know something about them. And that's true in personal family matters as well as after 9/11. I was hammered in the media. A lot of people were scared, but everybody wasn't scared.
I mean, is it true that we blew ourselves up in 9/11? Is that?
I know nothing about that. I mean, I was asked that question everywhere where I went in Venezuela. I mean, in Venezuela, everybody believes.
Well, I wouldn't say we blew ourselves up.
The U.S.
Would you say there's been dark forces or something manipulating Orwellian intelligence?
Yeah.
But what was it like? There was like a whole big like wire transfer, all that transferring that was going on to like Deloitte and Touche and all that paper shredding that was going on with their doors locked for like a month at a time, and nobody could speak, and it was a real craziness they had there.
One question I don't think anybody knows, but one thing that I find interesting, like when you're in Venezuela, is everybody thinks it's true. Whether it's true or not, everybody thinks it's true. And the other thing, of course, is that a big imperial power is capable of staging spectacular things. That's possible.
It's the fear factor, or the scary thing, I would say, is that once you make that talking point, you see that every media outlet will pick up on it. Every newspaper, every radio report, every television report. It's funny because
what are you going to say?
Oh, no. You know, the only way I really became aware of this is being a New York City firefighter. And just
are you a firefighter?
I'm a retired firefighter.
Oh.
And all that stuff. But
how many years were you in?
I was in from 98 to 2009. So 11 and a half years.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. But certain things, you know, I saw the problem reaction solution indoctrinated by the city system. And it just, after a while, you say, this can't be real.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing I think about education. Getting back to that one point, isn't the education geared for people to believe that this is, you know, the way it is?
Well, here's the thing.
It's not stupid and lazy.
And no, it's true in every country in the world. Think of different countries, like think of Soviet Russia or fascist Italy or medieval Saudi Arabia or apartheid South Africa. Those systems